This show is made possible by support from landsharks.ca. Visit them for all your coin and swag needs at www.landsharks.ca. And by viewers like you. Thank you for your donations. Geocaching being featured on a tech podcast, Geocachers rescuing lost people, and a great brand new product review. It's August 28th, 2010, and this is Trackfiles. Hi there, and welcome to Trackfiles. I'm your host, Icenrye. Trackfiles is a brand new video podcast with geocaching news, product reviews from guest geocaching podcasters, fun events, milestones, YouTube videos, and all kinds of other fun stuff I decided to throw into this podcast. My website is trackfiles.tv. My email address is goice@icenrye.com. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, just follow @Trackfiles. So, what's new? Well, here we are, episode 2, and it's been quite an adventurous week for me. Episode 1 got lots of great feedback. It's been downloaded many times, and a lot of people are glad to see me on the air again. And I tell you folks, it is good to be back on the air again. And as for stuff outside of geocaching, well, in the province of British Columbia, it's peach season. And I actually just picked up a case of peach and canning them up as I edit this podcast, and I can't wait till mid-January when it's minus 40 outside and I can sit down and enjoy some fresh British Columbia peaches. So let's get right into the podcast. Let's start off with some geocaching news. Our first article comes from the video podcast Epic Foo, where they feature geocaching in their list of things that get your butt out of the house at the tail end of summer podcast. It's a great little show, it's well done. The article's a bit short, but at least it explains what the sport's all about. Check it out at Epic Food. Next, we hear about a recall on over 1 million Garmin personal navigation devices. Garmin and a third-party battery supplier are recalling over 1.25 million GPS units that include incompatible components. Garmin has identified potential overheating issues on units containing a battery using a limited date code range and a specific printed circuit board design. While there haven't been any claims of personal or property damage, Garmin has taken every precaution necessary to maintain safety for their customers. So if you want to see if your unit's one of the ones affected, again, I'll have the link on the website at trackfiles.tv. From there, you can enter your unit serial number and I'll let you know if you're affected or not. Next, we hear from the Wackys at the Groundspeak head office, and they have a new website called Get Satisfaction. Get Satisfaction is the new way for the geocaching community to share ideas, questions, issues, and praise related to geocaching.com. The forum threads Geocaching for iPhone, Geocaching for Android, and Geocaching.com website have been moved to Get Satisfaction. You can still read previously submitted content in the forums, but the new content needs to be submitted through Get Satisfaction. Get Satisfaction is an interactive feedback tool that offers many benefits over the discussion forums. It allows Groundspeak Wackys to identify high priority ideas and issues faster and increases transparency for users. So guys at the office, great idea. Absolutely love it. Checked it out. It's a good looking site. It's got some great ideas coming up there. And again, if you want a link to it, visit my website, trackfiles.tv. So next, an article that proves that it's not always nice outside and be careful where you go. From Grand Junction, Colorado, geocachers saved 2 women stuck in desert. 2 men looking for geocaches ended up also finding 2 women trapped in sand and debris. Roy Joseph and Paul Fox went caching last week in what's called the Dolores Triangle area south of Grand Junction on the Colorado-Utah border. The area was muddy because of heavy rain, and Joseph said he and Fox even talked about not wanting to get stuck in the mud. We were going to turn around and look for a third geocache when we decided to drive on down the river, said Joseph. As we came over a hill, there's this Dodge van, said Joseph. It had towels covering the windshield. I'm telling Paul, this doesn't look right, but we have to check it out, said Joseph. If you want to find out how the rest of this article goes, visit it. I'll have the link on my website. So time for a geocaching milestone. This past Tuesday, I was in the chat room listening to the Geocaching podcast with Daryl W4 and X-Punk X. And there, I met up with another cacher named Dig Online. And Dig Online just recently got their 25th fine. Hey, brand new to the sport, only been into the month. Congratulations. Welcome to the craziness that is caching. Here's to your 25th, and here's to another 2,500 more. You're going to love this sport. And thanks for listening to our podcast, and thanks for watching mine. Alright, let's talk about some great upcoming caching events. First off, I'm going to start right here in the Prince George area, where in just a matter of a couple of weeks, we're going to have the Prince George area Geocachers Cache and Release and Fall Wrap-Up event. This will be our 4th annual Fall Wrap-Up event and 2nd Cache and Release event. When? September 18th. Registration will start at 8:30 a.m. and prizes and a potluck barbecue will be at 4:30 p.m. So for those of you that don't know, what a cache and release event is a group of caches get together and we go and place caches like crazy. Submit them all to Groundspeak, and then they're all made public on the same day, and it just turns into a wild frenzy of brand new caches. If you're a first to find hound, these are your kind of events. So next we travel down to South Australia for the Spring Campfire Dinner, where the Thomas Hill Study Centre in Cuddle Creek Forest, when September 4th, plan to start eating at about 6 p.m. So next we travel from South Australia to the east coast of Canada for the Hubtown Geocoin Show and Fun Day in Nova Scotia. The event will take place at Victoria Park in Truro, when September 4th, 2010, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And finally, we travel down to Minneapolis, Minnesota for Geocoin Fest 2010 in the Twin Cities. This is a mega event. It'll be held September 19th at the Holiday Inn Suites in Minneapolis. So there you go, guys, just a few of the events coming up. And again, if you're at any of these events and you have some video footage, email me, geoicenrye@icenrye.com, and I'll let you know how to get your footage featured in Trackfiles. So those of you who are fans of the old video podcast know that my GPS of choice is the old Garmin GPS Map 60. Well, recently Garmin has come out with a replacement unit for it. It's called the GPS Map 62. And my good friend back in Detroit, Daryl W4, recently did a review on the GPS Map 64, the Oregon 450, comparing it to his trusty PN40 and the iPhone. Now, he hasn't shot video for it yet, hopefully it's coming up soon, but he did write a nice blog entry, and I'll have a link on my website to where you can go and read his first impression of these brand new GPS units. Sound like they're really great units, and I can't wait to get my hands on one of them myself. For our final segment, we're going to take a look back at this past week in Geocaching podcast. First, we start off with Cachemaniacs, where they feature an interview with Sparrow's Gold. From there, we go to the Geocaching podcast, where they talked about caching on a bicycle. And lastly, we visit with Sunny and Sandy at Pgcachers, where they talk about caching in the Saudi Arabian desert. Again, folks, I'll have links to all these episodes on my site at Trackfiles TV, and check them out. And if you don't subscribe to these podcasts, get on it, subscribe. They're great shows to listen to. That about wraps it up for this episode of Trackfiles. But before I go, a couple quick notes. Just a reminder, my website is trackfiles.tv. My email address is geoicenrye@icenrye.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at Trackfiles. Also, big shout out to show sponsor Landsharks. Guys, for all your geocache and geoswag needs, make sure you visit them, Landsharks, landsharks.ca. So in the meantime and in between time, that's it. Another episode of Trackfiles I hope you enjoyed. So until the next episode, cache on.